From your breaking news and weather authority, this is 13 Wham News at 6 in high definition.
So many people, so much love and respect for one who served his country and his community. So many people gathering in quiet gratitude to say a final goodbye to Rochester police officer Daryl Pearson.
Protecting and serving was a way of life for Daryl. He did it because he believed in this city.
Good evening. Dedicated officer, veteran, family man, bad driver. That's how Officer Daryl Pearson was described today. He was shot and killed in the line of duty last week, but the focus today was not on how he died, but rather on how he lived. Country and community, yes. But as we hear from Patrice Walsh, always family first. Patrice?
Don, how strong his family was today. They say they've gotten strength from all the police officers who have been at their side since this happened. They remember Daryl's smile. They say he was always smiling. They say he loved his job, but his family always came first.
My brother is my hero. He's also a husband, a father, a son, a brother, a soldier, and an officer of the law, and a best friend.
And that was Daryl's brother, Brett. He said to the police officers when he finished talking, be safe out there, and there were many in the audience today. Now, Daryl Pearson's wife, Amy, looked at that crowd and she just said, incredible. 4,000 people, many of them police officers and also members of the community, turned out to say farewell. She says her husband's death has not hit her yet. The emotions have not hit her, but she says she will never forget him and always carry him with her.
I'm angry too. I'm angry for my children. He does not have power over me or over this community. I've been told I'm strong, and that's yet to be seen. I know I will break down, but I'm being strong now to honor my husband.
And Pearson, as you heard, got one or two, maybe more standing ovations for things she said to the crowd. Just such strength she has shown all along, just saying those emotions. She's able to remain composed so far, Don. She also vowed to be at every court appearance, every hearing for the suspect, not wanting him ever, she said, to have power over her or this community. And she says she will be there and always carry her husband with her. Reporting live, Patrice Walsh, 13 Wham News.
All right, thank you, Patrice. Strong, and knowing those emotional moments will come. Lieutenant Governor Bob Duffy also spoke at today's service. He was proud of the work Officer Pearson was doing to get guns off Rochester streets, and he too was angry at a life cut short.
I have a hard time coming to grips with the fact that Daryl Pearson can go off to a war in Afghanistan and come home and lose his life on the streets of the city of Rochester. There is something horribly, horribly wrong with that picture.
And as well, a message for Officer Michael DePaula, who was with Officer Pearson when he was shot and killed.
And I know how cops think, and I know how cops second-guess themselves. And, sir, I hope you never second-guess yourself. You are a tribute to this profession. You are a credit to this city and a credit to law enforcement across this country. You are a great cop. And you did a great job, and your partner is in heaven, and he is proud of you, and everybody in this room is proud of you for what you did last week, and I want to thank you.
An emotional Lieutenant Governor today. Nearly a dozen people in all delivering eulogies at today's service, including Lieutenant Eric Paul of the RPD Tactical Unit. And he brought some levity to the service, talking about Daryl's bad driving. But as 13 Wham's Kelsey Smith tells us, he also talked about what he is calling his worst night ever. Kelsey?
Don, Officer Pearson's bad driving was brought up more than once today and helped bring some laughter to what was an overall sad and solemn occasion. One of the eulogies, like you said, was given by Lieutenant Eric Paul. He was in charge of Officer Pearson's tactical unit the night he was killed. He says Wednesday night he got that dreaded call, officer down.
This is the worst moment of my entire career, and this happened on my watch. I'm angry. but I know we have to all begin the process of healing at some point.
Lieutenant Paul spoke of the strength Officer Pearson had the night of the shooting, how his fellow officers helped him up into the back of a police car. He said Officer Pearson grabbed the cage in the police car and pulled himself into the vehicle.
Didn't matter if 100 SWAT cops were chasing Daryl down the street. The injury was such that no medical care could have saved him. So there's no finger pointing, there's no blaming, there's no second guessing. You did nothing wrong.
During Lieutenant Paul's eulogy, he had everyone in the audience hold hands, and when he said he got a little emotional, he would have us all squeeze each other's hand to help give him strength to make it through the day. He said God must have needed a hero in heaven. Live in Rochester, Kelsey Smith, 13 WHAM News.
All right, Kelsey. The sheer volume of people, both in law enforcement as well as civilians, who came to pay their respects at the Blue Cross Arena today was simply astounding. Jane Flash joining us now live to tell us more about that and what you were able to take in today, Jane.
Well, Don, watching all of this unfold outside at this corner was heartbreakingly sad today, but it was also very moving and at times even beautiful. They gathered on Broad Street, the closed street, the only area large enough to contain hundreds of officers. A sea of blue and gray set off by the visitors from Canada.
The amount of police law enforcement here from out of town was amazing. How the Brotherhood stands together. I wish people could do that.
Members of the Rochester Police and Fire Departments walked the few short blocks from the Public Safety Building. Blue ribbons of solidarity on the light poles matching the one Erica Jambrone wears over her heart.
It's a show of support, solidarity, and for the dangerous job that these men and women, take on every day.
People lined the streets and watched from office windows as the procession led by bagpipes and a police motorcade passed beneath a flag stretched 10 stories high. The stunning sight replaced by a solemn reminder in black on top the deceased officer's police cruiser.
It's touching. It's heartfelt. The community has to get together to support each other.
No detail was too small, from the police escort to the casket draped to honor a hero.
They, go to work not knowing if they're going to come home, and yet they do it every day.
This is very, very emotional today. Very emotional day.
In the end, a flyover and a final salute. It echoed across downtown, almost as if the very buildings in the city Officer Pearson promised to serve and protect were honoring him, too. Now, many people standing next to us were watching all of this with tears in their eyes. We saw people carrying American flags of all different sizes. I also saw some retired military veterans who stood in salute along with law enforcement. It is a day many who stood here, including myself, will not soon forget. Reporting live downtown, Jane Flash, 13 WHAM News.
You, Jane, and so many others, police and citizens lining the streets today, saluting, paying their final respects as that procession made its way from the Blue Cross Arena all the way out to the Whitehaven Cemetery, where Officer Daryl Pearson was laid to rest in a private ceremony today. Traffic at a standstill across our community today. Officers and civilians, tears in their eyes, saluting the hundreds of police cars that followed the family. Put your hand over your heart. Be grateful for what Officer Pearson brought to this community and how his life will be remembered. And when we come back, how law enforcement from across the country are showing their support for a fallen brother. Officer Daryl Pearson's death has called on many police officers around the country to come and pay their respects here today. Jennifer Lee says that they can relate to this painful loss, and we indeed, Jen, have seen officers from here in Canada and throughout the United States as well. Jen?
Yeah, Don, we also saw officers from Jacksonville, Florida to Washington, D.C. to 4 hours away in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They all came here to show their support to the family and also to honor Officer Daryl Pearson. We spoke with the police sergeant from the Pittsburgh Police Department, Gene Lavick. He said after hearing about Officer Pearson's death, he felt it was his job and duty to come to Rochester for the RPD and Pearson's family. He told us tragedy struck their department in 2009, 3 fellow officers killed in the line of duty. He remembers the support that was shown during their time of grief. Sergeant Lavick has an 8-year-old son and was personally impacted after learning Officer Pearson had 2 young children.
Which is exactly why I'm having lunch and heading straight back to Pittsburgh.
To see your son?
Yeah, of course. He's waiting for me. And he's very, very cognizant of what's going on. When I told him I had to go to New York last night, he said because a policeman died. So yes.
The sergeant also said that you learn how strong children can be during these difficult losses, at times even stronger than adults. Reporting live, Jennifer Lee, 13 WHAM News.
All right, Jennifer. Well, speaking of strength, a community like Rochester tends to build on days like this. Rochester's mayor and police chief expressed that during today's service.
We are partners, and by continuing to work together, we will create a stronger, safer city for all.
A terrible tragedy like this might tear a city apart, but Daryl's sacrifice has taught us that at this time, in this city and with this police department, that this badge and uniform that we wear is not a wall that divides us, but a bridge that unites us.
Daryl Pearson leaves behind a wife and 2 young children. Organizers have established a fundraising site for the family at youcaring.com. So far, $45,000 has been raised. We have a link to that site on 13wham.com.
Well, essentially, we're into the last couple of hours of the dry, warm weather in Rochester. We know we got some changes here. You can see the clouds that are coming in. This is a look at a live picture of the HD WHAM cam, and our temperature at this point is at 76 degrees. The dew point, it has been into the low 60s, and we do definitely have some rain to the west of us. There's actually a tornado watch in effect just south of Detroit, west of Cleveland. That's until 9 o'clock. You can see that box there. That is not coming our way. We do not expect any of that severe weather. But certainly some of these showers, a couple of downpours, maybe a rumble of thunder. This is going to be a possibility as we go through the overnight. And you can see this is racing in pretty quickly here. We've already had a couple of scattered light showers just to the west of Niagara Falls. They're getting some rain showers up towards Toronto. And we think this is going to be sweeping in pretty quickly. So by about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, we start to get some of these showers. Some of these showers and rumbles of thunder are going to linger into the morning. Now, notice a difference tomorrow. We may start out around 71, 72, 73 degrees. But as the day wears on, well, the temperatures are going to be dropping. They're heading down through the 60s. Winds are going to be shifting to the northwest, and this is going to be the first wave of some very cool air that's moving into western New York. Take a look at the futurecast here, and there goes the front. This will certainly be felt as we go through tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be a little breezy at times. Temperature is going to keep dropping here as we go into Friday and into Saturday. Now, I think we're going to get some sunshine. We're going to get some breaks of sunshine, but essentially unseasonably cool weather, feeling more like the early to the middle portion of October as we go through the next couple of days. So this is going to be an early high temperature on Thursday, about 72, then dropping. And this is the high temperature on Friday and Saturday. And that means most of the time is going to be spent in the 50s. That's the kind of cool weather we're looking at here. So through this evening, dry through the early evening, temperatures slowly dropping through the 70s. And then we'll start to get some of these showers, maybe a little bit of thunder. We think anytime after about 9 o'clock, it's going to be moving in from west to east. The temperature eventually down to about 69 degrees. And then we start out with temperatures in the low 70s tomorrow morning. Still some showers, still a rumble of thunder. But as we progress through the afternoon, Yeah, the temperature is going to be dropping through the 60s. The winds are going to be shifting to the northwest, a little breezy at times. I think most of the showers come to an end, and skies may even brighten a little bit as the day wears on. There's a look at our 7-day. Very cool weather through Friday, Saturday. Still could see another little passing shower going through Saturday, especially for the morning, but notice the probability of rain is not all that great. Sunday looks a little better. We'll get more sunshine. Temperature will moderate into the mid-60s. The next round of a couple of showers probably going to be Monday, and into Tuesday we'll get another wave of some cooler air coming in for the middle of next week.
All right, thank you, Glenn. Certainly weather cooperating today for all of the activities surrounding the cemetery and the funeral coverage. A little bit later on, we're going to recap some of these days and show you the moments that were very emotional during this day. When we come back, Mike Carolina joins us with sports. Mike is here now with a look at sports, and obviously a lot of attention on the Buffalo Bills and people waiting for this day when everybody kind of got back to
yeah, it's the players. You know, we've been asking them a lot about ownership, and most of the time they're like, well, when we can do something about it, we'll talk about it. Well, now they know who that owner is going to be, right? Yesterday, we found out officially that Terry and Kim Pegula were going to be the new owners of the Bills, and that means there's no worry about the team leaving town. Today, the Bills players got on the field for practice. They're getting ready for a big game. Orchard Park, home opening game, taking on the Dolphins. Now, while the players say their focus is on football, and that's what the fans want, there's guys like Kyle Williams. He says knowing this team is staying in Buffalo means a lot to him, it means a lot to his family.
I said the greatest thing is, you know, generations to come will be able to enjoy Buffalo Bill football in Buffalo. And on a personal level, it made me excited and gave me a sense of joy knowing that, you know, 10, 15 years from now, I can show my kids what a special place this was rather than describe it to them. And what it meant to me, I can show it. I can bring them and show them rather than say, hey, you know what, it was the best. We had a great time, you know, and that was important for me. And it was a big day for me as well, not just the fans.
Yeah, not just the fans. Now, the players certainly excited about the future, but in the present, as we said, they have to get ready to play the Dolphins. The atmosphere for the game should really be special as they take on Miami. And this is something Doug Marrone is looking forward to, but he also says, well, a responsibility comes with that.
You know, our fans have been great, you know, for us at home last year. You know, they've been a big difference. So to get a stadium packed with our fans, feeling good, us coming off a win, you know, we've got to be able to use that to our advantage, and that's on us. You know, I'm sure they'll come up in here and try to break that like every team does, and it'll be a battle now, you know, early on in this game.
Yeah, we'll see what happens on Sunday. You know, breaking news from the AP today. We talked about the Ray Rice thing.
Yeah.
Well, the Associated Press says that law enforcement in New Jersey says they sent a videotape to the NFL 5 months ago that showed that incident inside the elevator. The NFL is denying they got the tape. Not looking good for Roger Goodell at the moment. We'll wait for more on that.
All right, all of that coming up. Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
And when we come back, looking for bright spots on an emotional day. And one more look at weather and sports.
The showers are coming in this evening. Now, we think it's going to be dry for the next 2 to 3 hours, but anytime after about 9 o'clock, we get some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. It'll get much cooler tomorrow.
More reaction from the Bills about the Dolphins this week.
All right. And finally tonight, our bright spot shines on the dignity and grace of this day. For with the loss of Officer Darrell Pearson comes the challenge to celebrate his life and continue on without him.
One decision, one tragic outcome, one bullet, and that's why we're here today.
He was a man of dedication, faith, great love, and compassion. A man who worked daily to eradicate this city of illegal weapons and dangerous criminals.
To my team, the tactical unit members, you did nothing wrong. Squeeze.
Daryl, I promise you today that we and the members of the Rochester Police Department, like you, will never quit.
Daryl will always be with us. We'll never get over it because that would mean letting go of him. But we will get on with life together. We'll have to learn how to live without him. But I already know that my children and I, our entire family, will not be doing that alone.